So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at two fragrances from the house of Dossier, and they both just so happen to be Tom Ford inspired fragrances. And the first one we're taking a look at is Oriental Cherry, which is of course Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. And the second one is Oriental Sage, which is Tom Ford's Effin' Fabulous. So stay tuned to hear my thoughts on both of these. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. If you're a return subscriber, glad to have you here. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, please just hit that subscribe button down below. Be sure to hit that notification bell and also be sure to follow my fragrance Instagram page. But as you guys can tell from the intro, that is correct. We're going to be taking a look at two fragrances from the house of Dossier. Now, to be honest, I am a pretty big fan of this house. As you can see right behind me, I do own quite a few of these and I do wear them ever so often. And yeah, I'm excited to tell you guys about these two ones here. Now, like I said, the first one we're going to be taking a look at is Oriental Cherry, which is Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Now, I am a huge fan of Lost Cherry. I don't currently own a bottle of it, but I am very familiar with the scent. I have had a couple of samples of it and stuff like that. But before we get into these two fragrances, let's take a look at the presentation that Dossier comes with. Of course, they come in this iconic cardboard box that just says Dossier right there. Very, very simple, but I do like simple kind of packaging sometimes. It all depends on what they're pretty much going for. Now, you do open it like this, and it is all red inside, and it says, iconic scents, designer quality, no markups. Now, no markups actually means that they don't really own or have any stores where they have to employ employees and pay them, etc. So they can put all their pretty much costs into these fragrances. So that is always good. And they of course always come with this card. Now we're taking a look at Oriental Cherry. It gives you all the notes right up front there. This is of course inspired by Tom Ford Lost Cherry Eau de Parfum. And this is 18% concentration, which makes it an Eau de Parfum. So it is pretty high in concentrations, which means they usually last longer. And then it says, thank you, our mission is to deliver the highest quality luxury inspired fragrances at a fair price, giving you the freedom to explore new scents. Thank you for giving us a try. Now, pretty much how it works is any scent you order comes with a sample that you can test before opening the full-size 50ml bottle. Don't like the sample, just return the package with the 50ml bottle and you'll get a full refund. Returns are free, no questions asked. Now, this is where I'm sort of confused because I did get an email from them because they did actually send these out for review. They have sent out a couple before. If you catch my other videos of Dossier, they do send me out these for review. But of course, this is all still my opinion. But what I was gonna say is that they sent out an email a few months ago saying that they're no longer going to include the little 2ml sample in the packaging for various reasons. The Oriental Cherry did come with this, but my Oriental Sage did not. So I'm not 100% sure if they're still going to do this. So if you do buy this, just be aware that it might not come with the sample to return. And yeah, so that is the card. And you open it up and your fragrance just sits inside it like so, pretty snugly. So that is always good. So let's put the packaging down for a moment here and take a look at the bottle. Now, the bottle is where it actually shines in the packaging at least. So it does look very simple. Like I said, they're going for a simplistic kind of vibe with these. It does have a sticker. So I do see they did upgrade their sticker because before they used to come all bubbly and everyone would complain and stuff. I didn't like that either. I said it many times, they should upgrade that to be more flush and not have bubbles in it. And it looks like they did follow through because both of these do not have bubbles. So that is good. Now on here, it just says, of course, your top notes, middle notes, and base notes, which is cherry, almond, cinnamon. In the middle notes, you have cloves, rose, jasmine, plum. Base notes is peri balsam, tonka bean, and vanilla. And then Oriental Cherry right there. Now on the bottom, it just says the size of the bottle and some information. Now all these do come in 50ml bottles. So you can't really get this in 100 or anything like that, so it just keeps it nice and uniform. All right, so in the cap, it is magnetic, which is good. So you can pick it up by the cap and you can obviously put it back. So that's very, very nice. I love magnetic caps. They are my favorite out of all of them. So that's a nice attention to detail with that. So let's go ahead and spray this one and talk about the scent. All right, so let's go ahead and spray Oriental Cherry on my test strip right here. And I'll tell you my thoughts. It's actually the first time spraying the bottle since I have been using the sample when I've been wearing it. And funny enough, actually, the first time I wore this, I had this woman go absolutely crazy for it, saying, wow, you smell absolutely incredible. What is that? And I told her it's Dossier Oriental Cherry, and she was blown away by it. So you can smell the cherries like crazy, which this one is very, very heavy on the cherry note. So let's see what we pick up from this one here. This is delicious. Absolutely delicious, guys. If you're looking for a cherry fragrance, there's none better than, of course, Lost Cherry in this, which is representing Lost Cherry. And I can tell you right off the bat, guys, this cherry in here is so juicy. And it smells so natural as well, even in the Dossier version of this, guys. To be honest with you, this interpretation of Lost Cherry is probably the closest interpretation of Dossier fragrance that I've tested out of all the ones I own. This is so, so delicious. Oh, man. And this stuff is powerful, very, very potent as well. It's so strong, so strong. And I didn't even go with a lot of sprays. And I asked her, I was like, is it coming across strong? She said, yeah, it just, I can smell you from all the way over there. So, very good. But back to the fragrance, guys. Of course, you're gonna get a blast of that juicy, natural cherry in the top notes, guys. It's so good. Now, it's kind of combined. You do get a sort of like a boozy accord to this fragrance alongside the cherry, which work beautiful together, guys. Absolutely incredible. When you think about this, I believe Oriental Cherry from Dossier is going for $49, and Lost Cherry by Tom Ford, I believe for 50 ml is $350. So it is actually from their higher end private blends. I know the like most private blends go for $250 for 50 ml, but this and F & Fabulous both go for $350. So pretty much $300 less, and you can get this one here, which does smell very similar to the original. Oh man. And the performance, like I said, it does project very, very well, and the longevity is also very good. One of the best from the house of Dossier. Very happy with this one. And I love Tom Ford's. As you can see, I do own a couple private blends behind me, which I'm gonna review some of those I haven't actually talked about yet. I recently acquired those, so stay tuned to some reviews about Tom Ford private blends. But this is all about Lost Cherry, guys, or Oriental Cherry from Dossier. Yeah, very gourmandy with the cherry note in here. A little bit boozy. And I do also get like some kind of like almond accord to here as well. So good. Yeah, very pleased with Oriental Cherry from Dossier. They pretty much knocked this one out of the park. This is probably one of my, in the top 3 favorite ones from the house of Dossier, guys. Incredible. So yeah, this is definitely a go-to if you want a cherry heavy fragrance. Check that one out if you don't want to spend $350 on Lost Cherry. So let's go ahead and talk about F & Fabulous now. All right, so let's go ahead and spray Oriental Sage, which is of course F & Fabulous from Tom Ford, which comes in that nice like matte black private blend bottle, which I absolutely love. Of course, do not own a bottle of F & Fabulous because, to be quite honest with you guys, I'm not actually a huge fan of the fragrance. It kind of comes across to me like kind of like baby wipes or baby powder, something like that. It's just something about it doesn't really kind of work with me, to be honest with you. But let's take a smell of Oriental Sage and I'll tell you what I think about this one. Yeah, I do of course get that F & Fabulous DNA with this fragrance. But to be honest, it is not identical to F & Fabulous as Oriental Cherry is to Lost Cherry. It is a little bit different. With this, I get a heavy, comes across like a sage bomb, guys. So to be honest with you, if you're not a fan of the note of sage or just don't like sage, this one probably won't be for you. But I also get quite a bit of lavender in here. It is a little bit fougere, if I'm being honest with you, especially in the top. You also get that like bitter. It's a little bit bitter as well from the bitter almonds in this. Different from the almonds in Oriental Cherry. This is more bitter to my nose. Yeah, but it does smell very similar to F & Fabulous. From my testing of F & Fabulous, of course, I don't actually currently have a sample or own a bottle of it, but I do recall what it smells like. Now with F & Fabulous compared to this one, the only difference I get is in F & Fabulous, you get a much heavier leather note in that fragrance. This one I'm not really actually picking up on much leather. Possibly in the dry down, some leather comes through, but it's not the same leather that you find in F & Fabulous. And also F & Fabulous does come across like much more natural with the lavender and the sage and stuff like that. This one is somewhat synthetic. I mean, it's not a bad fragrance by any means, just I'm not a huge fan of sage, to be honest with you guys. I do love my fougères in like lavender and oak moss, heavy fragrances. This one here, yeah, there's something about it I'm not a huge fan of. But it is a little bit sweet as well. It does dry down a little bit sweet. Of course, you got vanilla in this fragrance. You also have like tonka bean in the dry down. I think this fragrance actually smells better in the dry down than the opening. Because like I said, right now I'm just picking up on a ton of sage and lavender combined. Yeah. Now, as far as the performance for this one, it is very, very good. Not as good as Oriental Cherry. There's something about that, the cherry and the liquor accords and stuff like that just pop out the skin beautifully, guys, and strong and potent. This one, it does stay a little bit closer to the skin from my testing. I haven't worn this one much, but for my testing, yeah, it's a little bit more of a skin scent somewhat. It does project a little bit, but not beast mode by any means. I don't even think Fabulous is a beast mode fragrance either, to be honest with you. Yeah, it isn't really my type of fragrance, like I said, but if you do like sage, check this one out for 49 bucks compared to 350. You can't really go wrong with that price tag there for a 50 ml bottle and being an EDP. Yeah, I mean, it's done well. It is blended well together with all the notes. Just not a fan of Fabulous. So I wasn't really expecting much from this one. I was just somewhat curious on how the fragrance would be from Dossier compared to Fabulous. I went into it knowing I probably wouldn't like it that much, just from my personal opinion. I know many people absolutely adore Fabulous. They think it is obviously fabulous. I think when Tom Ford made that fragrance, how he came across the name is once he smelled the DNA that they created, he just said effing fabulous. Obviously it's called, you know, effing fabulous for a reason. Some people think it is amazing and fabulous, but me, not so much, guys. So that's gonna wrap up the overview of Oriental Cherry and Oriental Sage. Definitely let me know how you feel about the House of Dossier. If you've tried any of their fragrances, I want to hear your feedback on them. I think they are pretty good for what they are, and the price tag, you can't really go wrong with them. They do have some great fragrances in the lineup. But that's going to wrap this one up. Obviously, give it a like if you liked the video. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll catch all you guys in the next fragrance upload. Take care, everybody.